story opens in October 1990 with maintenance supervisor Dale Brennan, a 32-year veteran of the railways, receiving troubling reports about Blackwood Tunnel. Train engineers have been complaining about strange echoes and voices in the tunnel, not normal maintenance chatter, but whispers that seem to follow locomotives through the darkness. When track inspector Jimmy Kowalski emerges from a routine inspection, white-faced and speaking of things moving in the walls, management decides action is needed. Dale assembles his best crew for a comprehensive tunnel examination. Tommy Chen, a young engineer fresh from technical college, Marcus Wright, a veteran track worker with 20 years experience, and Eddie Vasquez, their electrical specialist. They enter Blackwood Tunnel at 11:47 p.m., equipped with high-powered lamps, testing equipment, and two-way radios. The first half-mile reveals nothing unusual as they work efficiently, checking rail alignment and inspecting support beams. Young engineer Tommy Chen makes the first disturbing discovery: a narrow opening in the eastern wall, partially concealed by decades of coal dust and grime. The opening appears to be a natural cave mouth, roughly 4 feet high and 3 feet wide, that doesn't appear on any blueprints. Marcus, with his 20 years of tunnel experience, has never seen it before. The opening exhales cold air carrying a sweet, cloying odor like flowers left too long in water, undercut with something metallic and unpleasant. Eddie tests his radio and encounters disturbing interference, static filled with strange, rhythmic pulses that sound almost like breathing. Despite his explanation about rock formation interference, his voice lacks conviction. Dale makes the fateful decision to investigate the cave, concerned about potential safety hazards like water seepage or structural issues. He leaves Tommy to monitor radios, while he, Marcus, and Eddie crawl single file through the narrow cave mouth into the mountain's depths. The narrow passage opens into a circular chamber about 15 feet across, with a domed ceiling that disappears into shadows above. Their combined lights reveal a horrifying discovery: human bones arranged in precise concentric circles with deliberate care. Femurs, ribs, and skulls, some bleached with extreme age, others disturbingly fresh, form a macabre mandala around a single railway lantern with an intact but dark glass chimney. Many bones show parallel grooves like claw marks, too large for any native Pennsylvania animal. Over the radio, Tommy's distorted voice reports that the air is moving like breathing in the main tunnel. Then the men hear it, a low, resonant humming from somewhere deeper in the mountain, not mechanical, but organic, as if the rock itself were singing. The humming grows louder, joined by shuffling, scraping, and whispers in an unrecognizable language. The bone circles begin to vibrate, individual pieces shifting and clicking together in rhythm with the mysterious humming. As Dale commands an immediate retreat, their lights reveal a tall, gaunt figure blocking the tunnel mouth. The figure wears a tattered railway uniform from decades past, but where its face should be, there is only darkness that seems to absorb their light. The figure raises one impossibly long arm and points at them, while the humming crescendos into something between a song and a scream. The bones around their feet begin moving with purpose, assembling themselves into larger structures. Eddie bolts first, pushing past the pointing figure with a cry of terror. Marcus follows, his lamp swinging wildly as he scrambles through the passage. Dale lingers one moment too long, transfixed by what emerges from the deeper darkness. Dozens more figures wearing remnants of railway uniforms from different eras. They join Tommy, who has been pressed against the tunnel wall in shock, reporting that he heard dozens of voices through the radio, all saying the same thing. The shift never ends. The crew runs through the tunnel as the humming pursues them like a living thing, the walls seeming to pulse with otherworldly rhythm. They don't stop until bursting into the cold October air. Dale immediately contacts Pennsylvania Railroad's emergency line, and within hours, state officials arrive along with representatives from mysterious agencies. The maintenance crew undergoes extensive questioning and is required to sign comprehensive non-disclosure agreements, told their discovery is a historical archaeological site of sensitive nature. On October 17th, 1990, concrete trucks arrive at Blackwood Tunnel. Working around the clock, crews seal both entrances with reinforced concrete barriers 12 feet thick. Official records cite structural instability and environmental concerns. However, local residents begin reporting disturbing sounds on still nights, humming from underground, voices calling in the darkness, and most terrifying, the rhythmic sound of tools striking stone, as if something is trying to dig its way out from within the sealed mountain. The aftermath devastates the maintenance crew. Dale Brennan retires early and moves to Florida, never again traveling by train and crossing streets to avoid railway workers. Tommy Chen leaves the industry to become a teacher, but keeps a powerful flashlight on his desk and becomes agitated when trains pass near his school. Marcus Wright refuses all tunnel assignments and develops a nervous habit of listening for sounds whenever trains pass through enclosed spaces. Eddie Vasquez suffers a complete nervous breakdown 6 months later, spending his remaining years in psychiatric facilities. He speaks obsessively of the shift that never ends and warns nurses that they're still down there, waiting. Meanwhile, strange reports begin accumulating. Hikers find railway equipment in impossible mountain locations. Encounter figures in antique railway uniforms walking through forests at night, always heading toward the sealed tunnel. Geological surveys detect rhythmic seismic activity, suggesting impacts against solid rock from within the mountain. By 1995, geological surveys reveal seismic activity that doesn't match known fault lines. Rhythmic impacts suggesting something large striking the mountain from within. The area around Blackwood Tunnel is quietly purchased by a shell company with federal ties and designated as a sensitive environmental preserve, completely off limits to civilians. Yet, reports persist. Truck drivers see lights moving through forests, following the old railway route. Amateur radio operators pick up transmissions on old railway frequencies, featuring garbled voices discussing schedules for non-existent trains. Emergency responders develop unofficial protocols for calls near the sealed tunnel, respond quickly, and leave quickly. Veterans speak of feeling watched and hearing distant underground machinery. Every few years, maintenance crews discover hairline cracks in the concrete seals, always in groups of 12, arranged in perfect circles. These cracks are repaired, but inevitably reappear, suggesting persistent pressure or activity from within the mountain. In recent years, internet forums and social media have given new life to Blackwood Tunnel stories. Urban explorers share blurry photographs of the sealed entrances, while local teenagers dare each other to camp near the mountain. Most leave early, reporting unease and the sensation of being watched. Some claim to hear the original humming, and occasionally, someone posts videos of lights moving behind the concrete barriers, lights that pulse rhythmically with sounds that might be machinery or something far worse. The Pennsylvania Railroad Company has been absorbed by larger corporations, their records scattered or destroyed. The maintenance crew's official reports remain classified, filed in archives most people don't know exist. But on quiet October nights, when the wind carries sounds further than it should, residents of the surrounding valleys still hear echoes from deep underground. Voices calling, rhythmic pounding of tools against stone, and beneath it all, the endless humming of something that was never meant to be disturbed. The railway tunnel remains sealed, the mountain keeping its secrets. Yet somewhere in the darkness below, the shift continues, night after night, year after year, as it has since the mountain was young, and the first trains carried unknown cargo through its heart. For those who know where to listen, the mountain still speaks, always saying the same thing. Some doors, once opened, can never truly be closed again. The story ends with the understanding that whatever was discovered in Blackwood Tunnel continues its eternal work in the darkness, forever sealed but never truly contained.